So our next speaker is Simon Orme. Simon is from Greenscape Commercial Gardening. So Simon is a B&I member at Winslow, and he's been in business for 8 years, and he's not yet been in B&I for 12 months. But Simon's got a particularly good story to tell you, so can you just give it up please for Simon Orme?
This is the first time I've ever stood up in front of anyone apart from me 60 seconds, so bear with me. It'll be very unnatural. This will be more of a life story than, I'm only 31, but it's not more of a life, but than just B&I, because it's only 6 months. So I left school in 2005. I had no qualifications, didn't know what I wanted to do. A lot of people thought that I was going to sort of amount to nothing, really. My uncle kept telling me to ring a company called Clapham's, so I rang them once. They weren't taking anyone on. Rang them again. They were taking someone on, and I got a job there. It was my first interview as well. So that was doing garden maintenance. Before that, I'd done dry lining, sat in the back of vans to Blackpool and all sorts. Started working for them. I was a foreman there by the age of 20, so I was in charge of people older than me, which was quite good. And then a big part of my life has been Manchester City. Yeah, but it has though. Yeah, it's played major keys. It's how I stayed in contact with my wife, and it's how I got my next job. My boss's father-in-law was sat in front of me at the football, and that happened to be my dad's best mate's dad, if you can get that. And they were sat in front of us, and he said, my son-in-law needs another gardener. So I started working for Brendan. I learned a lot from Brendan, a lot of hard work, but then I realised I wanted to be my own boss, because I've always sort of gone after money, and I thought I could do it myself. So I think in 2011, I bought my first van. 2012 is when I set up Greenscapes. It was mainly domestic work, 7 days a week, non-stop, working all the time. All my friends would say, you're mad because you're working on a Saturday, but to me I could see the end game. Bought our first house when I was 24, and we've moved 3 times since then, so we've invested every time. So I've done all this, joined my business. So then I was doing my company, it was all going well, but then I thought I could do with more, and then I discovered the internet. And luckily, one of my best friends can do Google Ads and all that stuff, so he set me up. And for me, over the past sort of 6 years, I think I've spent about 7 grand on Google Ads and probably earned back 500-600 grand through that. So, it's a little outgoing to get the money back. Yeah, so I was growing my company, everything's going well. We started getting into a few commercial things, so care homes. We work for like Bupa, we look after like trampoline parks. And all this time we're still doing the domestic gardens, and that's like where we are in Bramhall. I was struggling to get into more commercial stuff. We'd sent out a lot of letters. We tried all different things to get it with commercial customers, but it wasn't really coming off. And I was getting frustrated by it, because I thought, I've worked this hard, I've built up a good brand where we are, but I can't get in the door of these places. And then, just by chance, Niall from Neat Heat was doing work at my house, and he said, do you want to come to this networking thing? And I thought, what's that? A load of rubbish, really. So I just didn't want to do it. And then the next day, we tidied a lady's garden called Rose, and she asked me the same thing about the same networking group in Wilmslow. So I thought, well, it's obviously got to be fate, this. I'll give it a go. So I went. This was in November last year. I nearly walked out. I nearly walked out. I hated it. I went home, told all my friends, I hate it. I don't know why I've joined. I'd already paid the money, so I thought, why the hell have I done that? Paid it up front and not the standing order. Yeah. But no, so then we were dead busy at work. Up to Christmas, we're always really busy. And last year, I was sort of half in the van and half not in the van. And we had 2 vans by now, by the way. I'd built up to 2 vans and 4 staff. The 4 staff included me at this time. So I was sort of half in the van and half not. And the end game was to be out of the van completely. So over Christmas, I'd had a lot of time to think, and I thought, I'm not treating B&I like I treat my own business. So after Christmas, I think I had about 18 one-to-ones in January, I think. It was somewhat ridiculous. But then in the end, I started getting little hits. So I found out Over the Edge Business Park, that's up in August this year. I'm talking to the lady, Dawn, I spoke to her yesterday, I'm speaking to her again And I spoke to her on Friday, speaking to her again this week. And then Vicky, who's here tonight, I was asking for the Emerson's group, and she was kindly enough to know someone who works there. So we got an interview with them, and it's a company I've been after for a long time. So I they didn't get my email, did they, at first? So then I got the number and they rang them, and I had an interview with them, and they gave me 4 jobs. So I thought, brilliant, we're in the door. Went to see them 3 weeks later, and they told me the current gardener's handed in his notice, and they gave us 30 jobs. So yeah, I've just increased my turnover by 60 grand. So yeah. We've actually started the sites today, and that'll open up doors for a lot of other things. And then another story as well is going to other chapters. I go to quite a lot. I know quite a few people here. There was like a guy called Paul Grant. I think he's in Manchester, BNI. He got us in with a group, New Care Living, and we've just started a care home in Chester as well for him. So that was visiting another chapter, and that's a 7 grand a year contract through that. So yeah, it's all been good. So the main thing and probably why I'm here, is because I was giving up on BNI, and I just thought it wasn't for me. But if I had done that, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. I've got 3 vans, 6 staff. I'm about to take on the 7th. Someone was supposed to come in today, but they didn't turn up. It's typical. But yeah, and all this time, I've been doing this with my wife supporting me the whole way. I've got 2 young kids. You know, we've moved 3 times. And can continue to grow and grow and grow. But now I'm not working on the tools. I'm out of the van, which is, you know, that's what my goal was to do. And I've finally done it. So yeah, that's it. Questions?
You got any, yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions aside?
What's my end game? Yeah. So my goal was to have 5 vans by the time I'm 35, but I'm only 31, so I might change that to 10 vans. So. But no, I just want to keep growing. And I've always wanted to be like Clapham's going to work for them. They have like loads of vans. They all like Morrison's, that sort of stuff. And that's just what I want to do. And I think I can do it. You know, I never thought I could, but you know, I actually think I can now. Yeah. So yeah. From transition from working from the tools. So yeah, for the past like 12 years, I've been pushing a lawnmower every day, and all of a sudden, I was sat in my truck, in my jeans and my trainers, looking at jobs. Yeah, it was weird, and I found myself a bit lonely actually, because I was usually with the lads and I was on my own all the time. So my wife said, you never rang me so much. So yeah. Dream referral. I'd like to get in with your housing group. So I have tried contacting a few of them on Indeed. Not Indeed, on LinkedIn, sorry. So yeah, I'd like to try and get in there because they do a lot around Stockport and stuff, so thank you.
Oh wow, big up for